Hey y'all, I'm Mandy, and this is Mandy in the Making. Here's what's for dinner. Before we get started, I wanted to mention that today's video is in collaboration with my friend Taylor Elmore here on YouTube. So make sure you check out the description box below when you're done watching my video. Click on her link and go watch her What's for Dinner. She has a lot of really great ideas. I enjoy watching her What's for Dinners, and I think you will too, so don't miss it. Tonight for dinner, we are having a twist on tacos. This is something I grew up eating at my mom's house. She gave it to me in my recipe binder that she gave to me as my wedding gift. So we've been making it for years, and it's just a little bit different than regular tacos. So I'm gonna show you what it is. It's called tortilla layered casserole. The first step is to brown a pound of ground beef as well as some diced onions. So let's cut up the onion and get that going. If your family prefers chicken tacos, you could definitely do chicken, like shredded chicken, instead of ground beef. Now we're just adding in a packet of taco seasoning. I'm not adding any water to this. Just a little bit of salt and pepper. Now we're just going to assemble the layers. So I'm going to show you the first layer, and we're just going to repeat that process over and over again. I've repeated the process 3 times. I'm ending with the 4th tortilla on top, and I'm just going to put the last of the salsa on here, as well as a little more cheese. This is going in the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes at 350. While that's in the oven, we're gonna get started on some queso dip. I learned this recipe from Missy over at The Welder's Wife here on YouTube, and it's one of our favorites. So we're just gonna make some queso dip with white American cheese. We're going to use 16 slices of that, about a cup of half and half, a can of diced green chilies, and about a teaspoon of cumin. What is it, Grace? What? Okay, I've got a saucepan. I'm going to heat it up to about medium heat. And I'm gonna pour this half and half in there and put all of the cheese in there, and we're just gonna let it melt down.
Well, the first thing you gotta have is the right uniform.
Even though these are not tacos and it's not Tuesday, but that's okay, right?
That's right. Well, this looks really, really good. Look at the layers of love we got going on here. Wow, that's really good. Very, very tasty. I mean, it's like eating a taco. You definitely get the taco seasoning with the salsa. You even get the crunch of the corn. You know, that's what you want.
Hey y'all, tonight we're having Greek chicken and onion roasted potatoes. I've got the oven preheating to 450. It's gonna take longer to do the potatoes than it is the chicken, so we're gonna get that started first. I've chopped up about 2.5 pounds of red potatoes. Now I'm putting on about 1/3 cup of olive oil, and I'm going to toss this and then coat it with the onion soup mix. These are going in a 450-degree oven for about 40 to 45 minutes. We're getting started on the Greek chicken. We're gonna heat this large skillet to about medium-high, and we're gonna go cut and season the chicken. I've got 3 chicken breasts here. I'm going to butterfly them just so that they cook quicker and more evenly because they're kind of thick on this one side. So I'm gonna cut them each in half. Doing quality control here.
I get a piece too.
We're letting the chicken brown on both sides. It doesn't have to cook completely through quite yet, but now we're gonna add 1/4 cup of chicken broth and 1/4 cup of Greek vinaigrette. So I'm just gonna mix them together before we go pour it over the chicken. The recipe calls for dried thyme. The only thyme we have on hand is ground thyme, and we've used this each time we've made this Greek chicken, and it's really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that now. So now I've just covered it, and we're gonna let all the veggies get really tender. It's been about 10 minutes with the lid over the chicken, so we're gonna check on it now. Oh yeah, those are really tender. I think it's ready.
This looks delicious. That's really good. The chicken is really, really tender. You can really taste the thyme. It's not too powerful. It's not overpowering. It tastes just like what you would expect Greek chicken to taste like. It's really good. This is definitely restaurant quality, no doubt. And these are my favorite potatoes. I mean, you cannot get a better tasting roasted potato as simple as this is to make. I can't believe how good it tastes.
Hey y'all, it is Tuesday and we are getting dinner started tonight. Tonight we're gonna be having our homemade chili. This is the chili that I grew up eating, my mom always made. And we're having homemade cornbread, and this is the cornbread that my husband grew up eating. It's what his grandmother always made. So I've got the oven preheating to 425, and while that's preheating, we want to go ahead and make sure that our skillet is good and greased. We are going to be using Crisco to do that. Cole is going to do that for me. One little tip that I have for you on that is to just use a plastic bag, dip it right in there, and rub it all around. It's really important that you have a great seasoned cast iron skillet. This is actually Stephen's grandmother's cast iron skillet, so it's a treasure to us for sure. And here we've got 2.5 cups of self-rising flour. We're going to add 2 eggs and 1/2 cup of Crisco. You're going to want to use a pastry cutter and just kind of go in downward kind of circular motion until this is like coarse crumbs. I'm going to add 2 cups of buttermilk, and I'm going to mix it with a fork until it's well blended and it's ready. Going in the oven at 425 for 25 to 35 minutes. So I'm going to set the timer for 30 and we'll take a look at it then. Now that we're getting started on the chili, I did want to mention that I'm going to put this on medium high, and the great thing about this particular dish is everything is going to get cooked right here in this pot, so you only need one thing to kind of dirty up for this dish. It's gotten up to temperature, so I'm just going to add a couple teaspoons of olive oil. You're going to need 1 pound to 1.5 pounds of lean ground beef. I'm going to add my chopped onion. Now that the hamburger meat has browned up, we're going to add in the rest of our ingredients. So you're going to add a can of tomatoes, a can of kidney beans or chili beans, an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, 1 cup of ketchup, a tablespoon and a half of chili powder, couple teaspoons salt, pepper, and just a dash of chili powder. Just kidding, that wasn't chili powder, that was red pepper flakes, my bad. We're gonna let that come up to a simmer, and then we will turn it down to low and let it simmer until the cornbread is ready, which is about 20 more minutes.
That's really good. Really creamy. Love the spices. Not too hot as far as the spices are concerned, but just tons of flavor. This is a really good chili recipe. You gotta try it. And then cornbread. That just looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's super fluffy right here. And then you've got the crunchy crust on the outside that's just packed full of that buttery flavor. It's so good.
Hey y'all, it is Wednesday and I am very excited to say that tonight's dinner is actually my very first edition of Subby Supper. I want to say thank you to everyone who sent in recipes. I did not expect the response that we got. I think most of y'all are sending in recipes just because you want to see Stephen taste test your food. But we narrowed it down and decided on this particular recipe from this particular person. I contacted her. She was very excited, and I'm going to introduce her to you now. Today's recipe comes from the sweet Michelle Harris down in Georgia. I say down in because I'm in South Carolina. She and her husband Daryl have been loving this recipe for a very long time. They've been married for 44 years, congratulations. And he has been having this particular recipe since he was in high school. His mom used to make it for him, and Michelle started making it for him once they got married. The recipe is called Burger Bundles, and we are really excited to give it a try. A little bit more about Michelle and Daryl. They love to cruise and travel. They have 2 grown daughters, so they are empty nesters. Their grown daughters live out of state, so they do go and visit them. One of their daughters has children, so they love to go see their grandkids at least 4 times a year. But the picture that you see here is one of her and her husband Daryl when they were in the Dominican Republic. So thank you again, Michelle, for sending this in. I'm so excited. It was nice to get to know you, and let's get started. I'm gonna include the recipe below, of course. We are doubling it because Michelle said she normally doubles it. So the first step is to prepare this stuffing mix according to the package directions. So that's what we're gonna do now. So I'm gonna put 1.5 cups of water in this saucepan, along with about 3 to 4 tablespoons of butter. I'm gonna bring that to a boil. We're gonna let that set for 5 minutes. As one of the sides for tonight's dinner, we decided we would make brown rice. It's not really brown rice, it's made with white rice. This is a dish that I've grown up loving. My husband absolutely loves. My mom makes it for every holiday. It's a special request from Stephen every single time. So it's really, really simple. 3 ingredients, and then you throw it in the oven. Let's do this. 1 can of French onion soup. 1 can of beef broth, or this beef consomme. And 1 cup of white rice. Now you just cover it and put it in the oven at 350 degrees for 50 to 60 minutes. So I've got about 2 pounds of ground beef here. I've got about 1 cup of evaporated milk. I'm gonna add this in, and I'm gonna mix this up really well. Now I'm gonna divide these out into about 5 patties. She says she flattens them out to about 6 inches in diameter, so that's what I'm gonna try and do. I am going to use this to try and help. Before I finish up the patties, I wanted to go ahead and get this on the stove warming up. I'm gonna put in a can of cream of mushroom soup, about 4 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce, and about 2 tablespoons of ketchup. Now we're just going to divide this stuffing mix into each patty. I'm really not exactly sure how much should go into each one, so I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. Now the directions say just kind of roll it up almost like a sausage log to kind of cover the stuffing. Now this is going in the oven uncovered for about 45 to 50 minutes at 350 degrees.
First of all, this looks amazing and it smells incredible. It's like a flavor factory.
You're always coming up with something new. Uh-oh, that's good.
That's a touchdown right there.
Is it?
That is incredible. The stuffing, the gravy, extremely juicy hamburger meat. That is so good. There is so much flavor in this. Get some of this brown rice. Brown rice with this is perfect.
So thank you, Michelle. We appreciate it. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm sure I'm gonna love it. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed another week's worth of dinners here at our house. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, I would love for you to join my YouTube family and hit that subscribe button below. Thanks y'all, and I'll see you next time.